Flour looks pure, but right now the FDA and Publix are flagging your pantry. A massive Pillsbury recall for salmonella is just the tip of the iceberg. The real threat is systematic chemical warfare in your daily bread. When you open a bag, do you smell wheat or a swimming pool? That pure white color is a toxic illusion, created by chlorine gas and potassium bromate carcinogens, banned in over 30 countries. It gets worse. The EWG found glyphosate, the active ingredient in Roundup, in 100% of conventional wheat samples. You're literally baking cancer-linked pesticides into your family's pancakes. Today, I'm exposing 7 flour brands you must stop buying, from budget bags to premium frauds. Stick around because I'll reveal the only 2 brands with a consumer veto, verified clean and safe. Before we dive into the first brand on the list, which flour do you currently have in your pantry? And which state or country are you watching from? Leave a comment below and let me know. Let's look at the labels they hope you never read. We begin at the 7th spot with the legendary White Lily all-purpose flour. Since 1883, this has been the Southern baker's choice. The secret to biscuits that melt in your mouth. You trust it because it's the red and blue bag passed down through generations. But here is the betrayal: that legendary lightness is achieved through chlorine gas. This isn't just a bleaching agent. It is the same gas used in World War I chemical weapons. In 1915 at Ypres, this exact gas killed thousands of soldiers in one of the most horrific displays in military history. Today, it is pumped through your flour to break down protein structure. While the EU, the UK, and Australia looked at the practice of pumping chemical weapons through food and banned it, White Lily calls it Southern tradition. Open a bag right now and bring it to your nose. Do you smell that antiseptic sharpness? Real flour should smell earthy and warm, but White Lily has a swimming pool undertone because it has been gassed. And when you rub it between your fingers, it feels unnaturally silky, like talcum powder. That's not craftsmanship. That's chemistry doing the work that quality wheat should do. You've been passing down chlorine exposure with every family recipe. Is Southern heritage worth baking with residues of a chemical weapon? I'd love to know if you've ever noticed that sharp synthetic smell in your kitchen. Moving to 6th, we have soft-to-silk cake flour. General Mills engineered this to ensure cakes look like they came from a professional lab. To get that texture, they use chlorine gas to chemically restructure starch molecules, permanently altering how they absorb water and sugar. Scientists call this functional modification, but you should call it destroying food to rebuild it. They strip the protein down to a range of 6 to 8%, nearly half of what real flour contains. What remains is essentially pure starch, which they then spray with synthetic vitamins and call enriched. Look at the color. It is whiter than snow, whiter than anything in nature. Real flour has a cream tint from natural wheat pigments that chlorine destroys. Squeeze a handful in your fist. It clumps and holds its shape like wet sand because the starch has been modified at a molecular level. Your hand is telling you this isn't real food. Listen to it. Soft-to-silk is often more processed than the boxed mixes you're trying to avoid. You're paying a premium price for a laboratory product in a pink box. The 5th name on our list is Great Value All-Purpose Flour from Walmart. This yellow bag dominates the budget aisle, but the financial saving is a health gamble. In 2018, the Environmental Working Group conducted testing on flour brands and found glyphosate, the active ingredient in Roundup, in 100% of conventional samples. Farmers spray Roundup directly on wheat crops just days before harvest to dry the plant out faster, a process called desiccation. Since 2015, the World Health Organization has classified glyphosate as a probable human carcinogen. This has led to over 100,000 cancer lawsuits filed by patients claiming Roundup exposure caused their non-Hodgkin lymphoma. Bayer, which acquired Monsanto, has already paid over $10 billion in settlements. $10 billion is the price of the scientific evidence against this chemical. And yet, it remains in great value flour. You can't smell, see, or taste the glyphosate in your Saturday morning pancakes, but it's absorbed into every kernel. Walmart doesn't require suppliers to test for it or disclose which farms the wheat comes from. They save pennies, you inherit the risk. If you've been buying this to stretch your grocery budget, has the cost saving ever felt a bit too good to be true? Coming in at fourth is Pillsbury Best All-Purpose Flour. The Doughboy mascot has been giggling since 1965, creating a generational bond of trust. But Pillsbury's business model hides a conflict of interest. Some varieties contain potassium bromate, a dough strengthener classified as a carcinogen, and banned in the EU, Canada, and China. Beyond the chemicals, consider their product line. They sell flour, but they also sell refrigerated dough tubes, frozen pastries, cake mixes, and muffin mixes. There is a direct financial incentive for their flour to underperform in a home kitchen. Every failed loaf of bread or tough pie crust pushes a frustrated home cook toward Pillsbury's convenient pre-made alternatives. Their business wins bigger when you fail at baking. Pull out your Pillsbury bag right now. Can you tell if it contains potassium bromate? Probably not. The labeling is inconsistent and varies by region. You are guessing with your health while the mascot keeps giggling. He gets paid either way, whether you're baking from scratch or buying a tube of dinner rolls. The third spot is where the systemic mask truly slips gold medal all-purpose flour. It is America's best-selling brand, but in 2016 it was the source of a massive E. coli outbreak. General Mills had to recall 10 million pounds of flour after 46 people across 21 states were infected. 13 of those people were hospitalized with some developing kidney failure, HUS, because E. coli toxins destroyed their red blood cells. Permanent organ damage from a bag of flour. While they promised reforms, Gold Medal still sells varieties containing potassium bromate, the same carcinogen banned in the UK and South Korea. But here is the most indefensible part. General Mills reformulates Gold Medal specifically for California to avoid cancer warning labels required by Proposition 65. In California, you get clean flour. In the other 49 states, you get the bromated version because your state laws don't force them to tell you the truth. They are a $40 billion company that could eliminate these toxins tomorrow, as they proved in California, but they choose not to because industrial convenience is more profitable than your safety. This is the big twist of the industry. They know it's dangerous, they know how to fix it, but they only do it when a lawyer makes them. Moving to second, we have Swans cake flour. Established in 1894, its vintage packaging suggests a simpler era of baking. But your great-grandmother wouldn't recognize the second item on the ingredient list, cornstarch. Swansdown is cutting their wheat with cheap corn filler to lower costs while keeping protein low. To hide this, they use double bleaching chlorine gas and benzoyl peroxide. Benzoyl peroxide is the same chemical used in acne medication, and in flour it is used to accelerate artificial aging, forcing the wheat to behave as if it has been stored for months. You are paying for a heritage brand that is actually a chemically aged starch-blended patchwork. If you pour it into a bowl and look closely, you can see the texture isn't uniform. The wheat and corn particles don't fully integrate. This is 130 years of history being used to mask very modern, very cheap cost-cutting. Finally, at number 1 is the brand that represents the biggest betrayal, King Arthur, all-purpose flour, non-organic. This is the gold standard, recommended by baking blogs and serious home cooks. It is an employee-owned company with a reputation for ethics. People pay 50% more for King Arthur because they believe it's the artisan choice. And while it is unbleached, which avoids the chlorine gas of white lily unbleached, does not mean pesticide-free. King Arthur's conventional flour uses standard American wheat, which means it is subject to the same pre-harvest Roundup spraying as the budget brands. King Arthur knows how to do better. They sell an organic line that is certified glyphosate-free. This proves the supply chain exists and they have relationships with clean farms. Yet they continue to sell conventional flour with the same pesticide residues as Walmart, but with premium marketing. They are selling the reputation of quality while delivering industrial wheat to the masses. For a company that built its brand on being the ethical choice, selling glyphosate-laden flour at premium prices isn't quality. It's theater. It exploits the very people who are trying to do the right thing for their families. We have spent this investigation looking at how the flour industry has replaced quality grain with chemical engineering. From the 1915 battlefields of Ypres to the 2016 E. Coli outbreaks the story of American flour is one of industrial shortcuts. When you realize that the average family eats flour-based foods hundreds of times per year, these small chemical exposures add up to a massive systemic burden. But this isn't about being a victim. It's about using your consumer veto. You can change your family's health today by switching to brands that prioritize transparency over profit margins. My first safe pick is Bob's Red Mill Organic Unbleached All-Purpose Flour. Since 1978, Bob Moore's company has rejected the chemical path. They follow a simple one-ingredient rule: organic wheat. No chlorine, no bromate, and no synthetic enrichment, because they don't strip the nutrients out in the first place. Most importantly, Bob's Red Mill is transparent. They name their supplier farms and maintain a sourcing honesty that Walmart and General Mills won't touch. When you open a bag, smell it, it smells like grain, not chemicals. My second choice is King Arthur Organic. Yes, King Arthur, because their organic line is the only product they sell that actually lives up to their marketing. It is glyphosate-free and unbleached, providing the consistent performance they are known for without the industrial residues. Switching to organic flour is roughly 50 cents more per batch of cookies. 50 cents to eliminate chlorine gas, probable carcinogens, and Roundup from your kitchen. Every bag of gold metal you buy tells the industry that you accept a double standard for your health. Every bag of Bob's Red Mill or King Arthur Organic tells them that real wheat matters. Your pantry is the final voting booth for the food industry. Which of these revelations shocked you the most? Was it the fact that your flour is bleached with WWI Irrigas, or the realization that your favorite premium brand uses the same industrial wheat as the budget aisle? Let's talk about it in the comments. I want to know which brand is leaving your kitchen this week. Stay sharp, read those labels, and keep rising. Disclaimer: this content is provided for informational and educational purposes only. Allegations regarding health risks are based on classifications from organizations such as the WHO and EWG, as well as official product recall reports. We do not provide medical advice or make absolute health claims. Consumers are encouraged to conduct their own research and consult with medical professionals before making decisions that impact their health.